Welcome to this session of energy conservation and management. We are discussing about that cogenerations of gas turbine cycles. So far we have discussed about that introduction, performance of gas turbines, and in performance practice for optimal gas turbine performance at, in that case, at design stage, operating stage. These are all we have discussed, and how to monitoring of gas turbine, that also we have discussed at maintenance stage. And for specific practice for optimizing gas turbine performance, we are discussing in the last session. So in that case, evaporative cooling for ambient air, which is plays a very important role, we have discussed, and air, fuel and water management we have discussed. That we have to need to be treated water we need to be used, and treated fuel as well as the treated air also we need to be used. That is depending on the place and depending on the record which we have to be handled, and that is very helpful for the design practices. Now today we are going to be discuss the further, that is waste heat recovery for steam generation or havoc or heating. Now in gas turbine lot of waste heats are generated. We can use that waste heat into steam generation for specific purpose for industry or for running a small power plant. Generally these steams are made low quality to medium quality, and it can be used for various industrial processes. For high temperature steam in power sectors, that may be utilized for the generation of powers, but generally the gas turbine rejects lots of heat, and we have to be utilized for that heat for maximizing this plant efficiency. And heating, valuation, air conditioning system is most important things in today's industries. That waste heat recovery we can utilize for that system also, and we can utilize the heat for heating, valuation is heating, ventilation and air conditioning system also. And for specific heating purposes, that is where the process heat is required, we may use that waste heat. So waste heat, that is the technology employed for waste heat recovery from the gas turbine exhaust gases, consist of waste heat recovery boiler, that is WHRB, for production of steam, use of heat in absorption chiller for generating refrigeration effect, or use of heat for direct heating processes. Mostly water tube waste heat recovery boiler having configuration like unfired, supplementary fired or fully fired is used to generate the steam by utilizing waste heat available in exhaust gases. Potential of steam generation is the best practice to achieve the optimum cogeneration efficiency. Selection of unfired, supplementary fired or fully fired waste heat recovery boiler is made based on the steam requirement projected by the processes. In order to make the operations of waste heat recovery boiler plant efficiency, lot of all-round development has taken place in case of component, materials, control systems, etc. The control system has played a significant role in vastly improving the waste heat recovery performance. Another aspect of consideration like that in the fired boiler is deployment of reliable control system into waste heat recovery boiler, and its integration with the gas turbine as to optimize the overall cogeneration performance. Moreover, achievement of such integration, it is also important to make the operators conversant to the operating practice after deployment of control. Otherwise, there would be no meaning of going for sophisticated control system. Many a time, the pupil ignore potential of waste heat recovery due to availability of less quantum of heat. However, it is very vital not to ignore even this smallest of potential of heat recovery to utilize it in whatever feasible manner. For example, to heat up something, all possibles of waste heat recovery offer good opportunity to optimize the cogeneration system performance. Following few cases greatly attribute to affect waste heat recovery performance adversely, as in case of fired boiler, as seen in case of fired boiler. That is, lack of awareness in development of boiler technology, inadequate evaluation of overall techno-commercial benefits, the fact that good practice projects often given second priority. One should study and analyze various technological opinions available for waste heat recovery irrespective of its potential. Few lines mentioned in the portion relevant to the fired boiler is also applicable to waste heat recovery boiler. The unfired version of waste heat recovery boiler may be found similar to the fired boiler, but supplementary fired or fully fired version of waste heat recovery boiler are more or less similar to the independent fire boiler. Next, for optimization, steam generation and combustion efficiency is an important parameter. To convert water into steam, the temperature must be raised it to boiling point, that is saturation temperature, by adding sensible heat. Then the latent heat is added to turn water into steam. For example, increase of temperature of 1 kg of water from 0 degree centigrade to 100 degree centigrade requires 419 kilojoule per kg of sensible heat. To convert 1 kg of water into steam, it requires 2258 kilojoule per kg of latent heat. When this large quantity of heat supplied to water can be recovered by process at the point of use of its optimum, which is called system performance optimization. Next point, total efficiency is defined as the effectiveness of any combustion apparatus to convert the internal energy contained in the fuel into heat energy for utilization by the processes. Any heat losses lower the efficiency of the processes. Radiation losses from the heat escaping through the surface of waste heat recovery boiler walls are one example of losses. Waste heat recovery boiler efficiency is the total heat contained per unit in the flue gases minus the energy losses through the radiation, convection, etc., as well as final loss in the form of energy carried away by the flue gases finally leaving waste heat recovery boiler. In case of supplementary fired or fully fired waste heat recovery boiler, energy input would be sum of heat contained per unit in flue gases and heat contained per unit in the fuel fired. Thus, overall efficiency also takes into consideration combustion efficiency, waste heat recovery boiler efficiency. In such cases, is the total energy input minus energy losses through radiation, convection, etc., as well as the loss in the form of energy carried out by the flue gas finally leaving waste heat recovery boiler. So, for steam generation and combustion efficiency, these are the important points. Now, points requirement for optimization. Following points are required due to attention in order to optimize, maintain or improve the performance of waste heat recovery boiler. These are the factors relevant to design, operation and maintenance of boiler. It considered at various stages as required. They play instrumental role in enhancement of performance. At design stage, first point, generally waste heat recovery boiler installed in cogeneration system is water tube type, as it is most suitable for the specific application. Configurations for the water tube waste heat recovery units are horizontal, may be vertical, it may be single, double or triple pressure, supplementary fired or fully fired, etc. So these are available. Hence, it is essential to go for very close scrutiny for steam requirement and parameters for the plant, and then to select type of boiler. Second stage, at design stage, second point, the most vital factors to be taken into account during the design stage is the fuel quality in case of supplementary or fully fired waste heat recovery boiler, as it is to encounter fuel throughout its life. Hence, all aspects of fuel composition should be invariably considered while designing the combustion system component such as ducts, burners, furnace, drum selection, water circulation, that is natural or pump assisted, wall design, etc. So these are all the depending on the what the quality of the fuel firing or quality of the fuel is, while considering what is the quality of fuel is available. Chemical and physical composition of fuel greatly affects furnace and heat transfer area requirement. In case of waste heat recovery boiler, it is to be fired with high ash bearing fuel such as fuel oil. It is vital to consider presence of hydrogen, sulfur, trace metal, carbon, ash, calorific value and moisture, etc. at the design stage. Physical properties such as viscosity, flash point, etc. also plays an important role. In order to arrive the best average data of fuel composition for design consideration, it may be necessary to test number of fuel samples. Once fuel composition is established at the next stage, next important stage is the selection of material for tube water walls, lining, etc. Surface area required for optimum heat transfer from burnt fuel gases at different stages in the waste heat recovery unit should be carefully considered to optimize the combustion efficiency. Another thing, that is radiation loss depends on the temperature of waste heat recovery boiler's external surface, its unit's external surfaces. So it must be provided with inferior and poor quality of insulation, and poor design characteristics tends to have higher radiation loss. Nowadays, insulating materials of extremely high class quality and characteristics are available, use of which has been found highly cost effective due to reduction of radiation losses. Slight more capital investment repays in no time. Next is at operation stage. The best way to optimize the efficiency is to send all the flue gases, that is total flue gases, to waste heat recovery unit. That is, not to divert flue gases to atmosphere by keeping a bypass stack damper closed. This is the best way to ensure maximum recovery of waste heat from the flue gases. Another important point is to be maintain the quality of boiler feed water strictly as specified by the manufacturer in order to minimize the scaling of tubes, depositions in drums. Necessary chemical treatment should be provided to boiler feed water. Next, that operation stage, which plays a very important role. The best way to maximize combustion efficiency is supplementary or fully fired waste heat recovery unit is to measure oxygen and combustibilities in the fuel gas in a continuous basis. This requires development of instrumentation for online continuous monitoring of flue gas composition along with other relevant parameters. On observance of change in desired level of any component, it would be possible to initiate corrective measures immediately, either automatically or manually, to bring back the component to the desired level. Number 4th point, 3 essential components of combustions are fuel, oxygen and heat. Stoichiometric combustion is defined as having just the right proportion of oxygen and fuel mixture so the most heat is released from fuel. In most fossil fuels, the chemical elements that reacts with oxygen to release heat are carbon and hydrogen contained by the fuel. Another point, that is oxygen requirement for combustion is obtained from air supplied to the boiler along with fuel. Now air contains 21% oxygen and nearly 79% nitrogen by volume, neglecting the other small amount of gases. Hence, ideally, it is necessary to provide just the right amount of air to completely burn all the fuel. The ratio of required volume of air for complete burning of 1 cubic meter of fuel is known as stoichiometric air fuel ratio. 1 cubic meter of methane at standard pressure and temperature requires 9.53 cubic meter of air for complete burning. Hence, stoichiometric air to fuel ratio for methane is 9.53 by 1, that is 9.53. Now some list of stoichiometric air fuel ratio and heat of combustion for few common fuels is provided in the following table. For hydrogen, stoichiometric air fuel ratio, which is measured in meter cube of air by meter cube of fuel, that is 2.38. Carbon monoxide also same. Methane 9.53, propane 23.84. Natural gas, it varies from 9.4 to 11. Natural gas mainly consists of methane and some proportion of other gases are there. Coke oven gas 3.5 to 5.5. Now the heat of combustion, as we can see, that if we burn propane, that will be highest, that is 2590 kilojoule per 1 cubic feet. We can get 25, that is 2590 kilojoule of heat. And significant amount of heat can be found out from methane or either natural gas. Now combustion required for liquid fuels. Combustion required for liquid fuels, that is for carbon, sulfur, etc. High speed diesel and furnace oils are available. So in case of carbon, stoichiometric air fuel ratio is 150. For sulfur it is 56, and high speed diesel that contains 180 to 195 stoichiometric air fuel ratio, and furnace oil 170 to 185. Now the heat of combustion we are getting, that is for high speed diesel is more, that is 18,500 to nearly 20,000 kilojoule of heat per cubic foot of burning. And for furnace oil also similarly, that is 17,500 to 19,000 kilojoule of heat we can get per cubic foot of burning. And combustion of free carbon is there, if it is, so it will convert it into carbon dioxide and it will also release heat, and similarly for sulfur also. But sulfur is not desirable as it produce very high toxic pollutant. However, all practical purpose, this proves exclusive for a number of reasons, including inadequate mixing of air and fuel, burner performance, fluctuating operating and ambient condition, burner wear and tear. Hence, to ensure the fuel is burned with little or no combustibles, some amount of excess air is then actually required, is supplied for ensuring complete combustion. Excess oxygen in flue gas is continuously measured and necessary adjustments are made through boiler control system. Similarly, to ensure the amount of hydrogen and carbon monoxide in the flue gas is minimized, combustions are also measured, because the carbon monoxide, if it is again combined with the oxygen, so it will absorb some heat, and again at high temperature the carbon dioxide may break into carbon monoxide and ultimately the heat is losses. And hydrogen, it is combining with oxygen and it will from vapor which will again absorb the heat. So in flue gas, we have to keep in mind that minimum portion of hydrogen and carbon monoxide we need to be present by properly monitoring system. Heat losses through the flue gases are the single largest energy loss in a combustion process. It is possible to eliminate total flue gas loss. The products of combustions are heated by the combustion process itself. But flue gas loss can be minimized by reducing the amount of excess air supplied to the burner, as flue gases heat loss increases with both increasing excess air and temperature. Measuring oxygen alone may be sufficient to determine combustion efficiency, because more or less constant operating condition not affecting quantum of combustibilities in the flue gases. If possible, other component may also be measured for better picture. Similarly, measuring combustible along with it does not provide sufficient data to make continuous adjustment of combustion processes. To maintain combustion efficiency to its optimum level, it is essential to measure both oxygen and combustibilities in the flue gas on continuous basis and integrate with control system. Another area of losses is through blow down given to the boiler water. Dissolved salts enter the boiler through the makeup water supplies from water treatment system. Continuous evaporation of water in boiler leaves behind the salts in the boiler, leading to continuous increases. So it can be concluded based on the above discussion that fired waste heat recovery boiler monitoring and control system should have a flue gas analyzer which would effectively measure oxygen and control the amount of excess air in the flue gas and measure hydrogen, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, the component adversely affecting the combustion efficiency. Fuel preparation for supplementary or wholly fired waste heat recovery unit plays a significant role towards optimizing the performance. So first of all, carbon and hydrogen in fuel which are converted into carbon dioxide and water vapor on combustion, releasing large amount of heat. In the event of incomplete combustion, carbon may be converted into carbon monoxide, which results into liberation of lesser quantum of heat. Proper filtration and preparation are required, that is, heating to 50 to 60 degrees centigrade reduces viscosity, helps in better atomization on firing and mixing with air. This improves combustion process and performance. Second, spillage and leakage through negligence of faulty fittings in fuel pipeline should be avoided in totally. Apart from being wastage, they can cause accident, pollution and fire risk. The oil level indicator provided on the storage tank must be accurate. Redundant fuel lines in the storage area should be removed to avoid unnecessary changes of spillage. The oil should be sent to the boiler through duplex oil filter, which should be maintained regularly. Now the next is reduction loss, how to eliminate the losses. Although losses are there and we can minimize it, but it is impossible to make it zero. So the following points are need to be known. Radiation losses depend on temperature of boiler external surface and are independent of load at which the boiler operates. Thus, at low load, radiation losses may account for a significantly high proportion of total boiler loss. Hence, operation of boiler at low load may be avoided to the extent possible of minimum undue losses. Radiation losses depends on temperature of boiler external surfaces and are independent of load at which the boiler operates. Thus, at low load, radiation losses may account for a significantly high proportion of total boiler losses. Hence, operation of boiler at low load may be avoided to the extent possible to minimize undue losses. Radiation losses depends on temperature of boiler's external surface and are independent of load at which the boiler operates. Thus, at low load, radiation losses may account for a significantly high proportion of total boiler loss. Hence, operation of boiler at low load may be avoided to the extent possible to minimize undue losses. And proper provision of insulation of the steam and feed water pipeline valves contributes towards high performance optimizing by minimizing radiation losses. If insulation is removed for repairing, it should be immediately made good as soon as repair work is over. This is seldom done in the most of the industries. Similarly, it is essential to immediately attend to stop leakage of feed water and steam from respective pipeline joints and valves to minimize the losses. Inspection prior to outage for maintenance is an important criteria. The critical part for waste heat recovery boiler maintenance is the annual inspection. The team consisting of maintenance engineer, water chemistry specialist, and manufacturer engineer may be formed for such inspection, as the representative from different areas trained in different disciplines look at different things from varied angle to provide far better assessment of part. Such inspection not only help identifying existing problem, they are also the best planning tools for the next outage. The inspection may be planned well in advance of date of outage so that the adequate time is available to get the spare parts and engage a good contractor for maintenance. Area of inspections are there, that is area that commonly used to be repaired are holes in expansion joint, casting penetration, piping supports, leaking joint, valve, etc. Tubes in superheater, evaporative section, economizer, etc. for leaks, corrosion, deposits, bending, etc. Steam drums for deposition, signs of consistent, sizable, stable water level, evidence of steam leakage around baffles, drum penetrators, etc. Overhauling, certification and setting all safety valves, chemical cleaning of waste heat recovery unit, overhauling of all pumps, repairing of damaged insulation, cladding, etc. Inlet duct and the gas turbine expansion joint for hot spot and damage, and last of all duct burner and bent runner and igniter condition, etc. that are need to be inspected for good maintenance, for maintaining the good practice. So with this, today we will conclude the session. The thing is that we have completed the gas turbine part. So next session we will discuss about the cogeneration of reciprocating engine system. Thank you for joining with us.